Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Hey, welcome to a live edition of Dumb Jock on a Saturday. Typically, you don't see me on a Saturday hosting this show, but we got a very special guest here today on a Saturday who was gracious enough to join us. He's getting retired as a Denver Bronco tomorrow, guys. You know him, legendary cornerback of the Denver Broncos, Chris Harris Jr. joining me today. What's up, man?
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here, man. Welcome. This is a nice little setup here at Gorilla Sports, man. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a pretty good setup. It's a pretty good setup. It's not too bad. So you're in town for the game tomorrow.
Yes, yeah.
To retire as a Bronco.
Yeah.
How did that come to be?
Yeah, we did it today, and it was good to go to the facility and see all the guys, former teammates. A lot of guys on the Broncos coaching staff coach me. So, you know,
with the Broncos or
yeah.
Wow.
So you know, it's still a connection there and a lot of ex-teammates.
Yeah.
You know, so it was great to come back and then see everybody. And it kind of happened, you know, just getting back, talking back to Pat and Eric, the media guys, and just getting me back in the fold with everything and them just building that relationship back. You know, I hadn't spoke to those guys and man, probably like 3 or 4 years, or actually since 2019, really. And so it was good to be back and connecting with those guys. And from there, man, we just came to an agreement that it'd be good for me to retire here and finish it off great. And kind of, you know, it had the good ending to the story, you know.
12 years in the NFL?
Yeah, 12 years.
12 years as an undrafted player.
Yeah, 12 years undrafted. And I
didn't get invited to the combine either. Is that right?
No combine invite, even though I started, you know, over 40 plus games in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
I faced a lot of the guys, you know, that got drafted and did pretty and played long careers in the league, like Jordy Nelson, Dez Bryant, Jeremy Maclin.
And you locked those dudes down.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I had great matchups with all those guys, and you know, so I knew I could play in the league.
Yeah. They moved you to safety last year in college.
Yeah.
Well, how, you know, what was that like?
Yeah.
You know, for
well, I just wasn't getting any action, you know,
Okay.
and the first 6 games, you know, I wasn't getting any action my senior year. So coach was like, hey man, we could use you as safety where you can get more involved. And I played safety in high school. So it was something I was already comfortable transitioning to do. And I think I averaged almost like 10 tackles a game once they moved me back there. So I was just able to get active and, you know, show that I was versatile. But it did hurt me in the long run, or in the short run, really, because people saw that as I was slow and I wasn't good at corner. That's why they got moved to safety. And then because I was ranked pretty, I was in the I would have went to the combine if I would have stayed at corner.
Yeah.
Because I was already known at corner.
So do you think that created a little chip on your shoulder, though? Like, what do you think your career would have been like if you'd have gone to the combine, got drafted in the 2nd round, and just, you know, been gifted a little bit more than you were?
Man, it would have made my job a lot easier. You know, I had to fight. People don't really know my story. I've had to fight since I was a kid, you know, just trying to get noticed, trying to get out there, trying to get recognized. For the work that I was putting in, even from high school, you know, only had one offer after my senior year of football, even though we were top team in the state and I was one of the top players all state in the state, but I just didn't have offers. You know, kids I'm playing against, they got offers at OU, Arkansas, Tennessee, but I'm killing them, you know. So I never had a lot of people fighting for me, you know. So when I went to college, kind of, you know, it didn't start out like that. And when I went to college, you know, because I started as a true freshman. I started opposite Talib. He was an All-American. So my coaches was riding with me, but they got fired, you know. So my senior year, I didn't have my coaches that brought me there, that was pushing me out there. And, you know, I didn't have anybody fighting for me at all. So I had to go the undrafted route. And even in the lockout, you know, made it pretty much impossible to where a guy in my status be able to even be in contact with these guys.
You're talking about 2011.
Right,
the CBA lockout.
Yeah.
And you were a free agent here.
Yes.
This was the McDaniels, end of the McDaniels era? Or
I was here the beginning of Coach Fox era.
Okay.
It's really the Elway
that
era.
was 2010 was McDaniels, right? So beginning of the Fox, and then the last year of Tebow.
Yeah, because he only did 1 year with it.
Right. And then he was only here 1 year, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or 1 year with me.
Yeah.
But I think he was here 2 years. He might have been 2 years here. Yeah.
So you came in trying to fight for a spot on the team, didn't get drafted, and I mean, someone must have been fighting for you, right? For you to make the team.
Coach Fox, you know, they had a Coach Fox always tells me a story. It was one kid that was super athletic, and then they had me on the board as just super smart, you know, but not as athletic, but he plays every position. And Coach Fox said, let's go with the smart guy. Yeah. And then it happened just to be me. So they always tell me that story. So that's kind of how I got chose.
Wow. And so that was 2011, that the win against Pittsburgh in the playoffs?
Yes.
So that was your first year?
Yes, yes.
And then your second year, Peyton Manning gets here?
Yeah, yep.
So my question about playing cornerback, because it's a team sport and all phases influence all the other phases, right? So what was it like playing cornerback on a team that was putting up so much points on offense?
Yeah.
Did you guys know, like, all right, we're going to get a lot of chances. They're going to have to throw a lot to keep up.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't start out like that. You know, Peyton, it took him about, 6-7 games to get hot, you know, to be Peyton, you know.
Right.
We started out, our record wasn't very good when we started out.
That's right.
You know, we had a little rocky start, and then we just got hot, you know. So it was a different pressure, right? Because it was Super Bowl bust every year, high expectations. You're playing with Peyton Manning, so you gotta come out and compete every day at practice. There's no days off really for a corner going against Peyton, because you know he's going to be on point
at practice, right?
Yeah, he's going to have
to talking a lot of shit at practice.
Oh yeah, Peyton talks shit all day, man, and we talk shit to him.
Of course, you got to.
But he's a guy that he's always working with the receivers, so he needs corners. You know, he needs us. So it was never a day we didn't have 1-on-1s, you know, or 7-on-7, or some type of whole bunch of passing drills, right? So it was always work. You know, getting with Peyton, he taught me how to, you know, always have to have good eyes, because he was throwing the ball on time. The ball wasn't, you know, it wasn't late, you know. So if I'm going to pick him off, I got to have great eyes coming out the break.
What do you mean great eyes as a corner? What does that mean?
It means, when I say great eyes, not focusing on the right positions on the receivers.
So because you can't look at all 11 players at once, right?
Right.
So you got to figure out what you're looking at.
Exactly. So I would always start on my read step, you know. I would always read the quarterback, try to see what type of drop Peyton and them would make, you know. But it would always be, it's hard to do with guys like Peyton, you know, who could, you know, he could change up his drops, you know, and he could throw a quick game from, you know, one step, and he could throw a deep ball from one step.
Yeah.
So those guys were always tough, you know, to break down. So with him is, when I'm getting to that next phase, the second phase, we would say would be from 10 to 15 yards, right? Third phase would be, you know, 20 yards. You got to get, some people run, you know, 15 to 20 yard digs, comebacks. So anything after that, we call that fourth phase. So that'd be go balls, right? Deep posts, things like that. So my second and third phase, you know, I would always have to have great eyes, make sure I have my good focus on the receiver's hips. You know, you don't want to look at numbers, right? You look at numbers, they're shaking, you know, that can make it hard. And it keeps depending on how big the receiver is, it can make your eyes pop up. Right. So I always try to have focus on those hips, being able to help me.
So you're definitely not looking at the eyes or the head of the receiver.
No.
So a head fake ain't gonna do nothing.
Nah.
Or looking over that way and then going that way. That ain't doing nothing.
Nah, that would kill you, man. You would get killed, because, you know, guys like Justin Jefferson now, you know, they make a living off doing that. And, you know, even Welker, you know, I got pretty blessed early having to go against Brady when Welker was with Brady. You know, and he was the king of, you know, killing people with his eyes and his head, you know. So those particular things that you have to be technical sound, especially when you're my status, right? You're not the biggest corner, you're not the fastest. I was probably one of the quickest, but I wasn't, you know, the 4.2, you know, like a lot of these type corners now.
And as an undrafted guy, you also can't make that many mistakes. You don't have a lot of leeway, right? You don't have a long rope like a first round draft pick might, right? So you're talking about practicing against excellent players and preparing you to be great. Peyton and Champ Bailey was a teammate of yours. He was a teammate of mine, and I was a young receiver, practice squad receiver, going against Champ every day. And it was just like, you know, Champ made me better every day,
Yeah.
getting to go against him. The DBs in that room got to go see how he worked and get better. What was it like playing with Champ? But did you take anything from his game? Because as a receiver, what I would always notice about Champ was he was never fucking tired, man. He was just standing. He was just standing there, not wasting any energy. Right? Of course, I had to run back to the huddle, run out, run in motion, run all the way back, and doing all this running.
Yeah.
And he was always just chilling.
Yeah.
No wasted movement. Was always one step ahead of the game.
Yeah.
What was your impressions of playing with Champ?
Man, just playing with him, just coming through, seeing his technique. He was always technical sound. He was very disciplined. He understood everything what was going on. And from there, those are things I had to do. I had to pretty much learn everybody what their role is and how I can cover, to my help, or how I don't have help this time. Now I need to cover them this way. So just understanding the game. And that's what having Champ. I got lucky. I had another good corner, Andre Goodman. He played, I think 12 years. Brian Dawkins.
Yep.
And we would just sit in the film room, and they would, back then, Coach Foxy should let them run the meetings.
That's
so
cool.
I was, just so much knowledge in that room, just watching film, breaking. Hey, Chris, you should slide. Try doing this kick step right here, putting your hand up right here, and that'll gonna help you put more hands on them. Or you see this split, you might want to come right here. Just getting those little notes right there as a young player coming in the NFL with those Hall of Famers, was definitely a blessing, man. So that was, and then also just seeing Champ work every day. I remember one thing he always told me, he said, I never missed a day of work in my 14 career.
Yeah.
So just seeing the consistency every day that he was there, and he was putting in work. He had no excuses not to show up, so, and to be Champ, be that guy. So that right there was great motivation for me right there.
So you took that and ran with it, and, Pro Bowls, All Pros, Super Bowl champion. Is this correct that you didn't allow a touchdown on you in 35 games?
Yeah. I think 35 games. Yeah, 35, 36 games.
That's a pretty crazy stat.
Yeah.
What kind of, do you remember some of the receivers that you were shutting down at that time?
Man, everybody,
right?
At that time we seen everybody, and especially in the AFC, always pass heavy conference, so it was, everybody was on that list, but it's hard to do. That was one of my main focus, is to not get beat. You see a lot of corners, they might have a lot of interceptions. They might come out with 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions, but they gave up 10 touchdowns.
Right.
So that would always be my goal, is to always have a lower passer rating, lower catch, percentage, lower touchdown rate, lower yardage, things like that.
So you would follow those numbers and stuff.
Yeah. I would always want to make sure I would be pretty high on those.
Yeah.
Just because that would make me a real shutdown. Like, I'm not making my team lose. I'm not giving up touchdowns, but I'm making plays, So that was always my standpoint as a corner, is to not give up those touchdowns.
As a corner, what kind of receiver do you like going against the most? What kind of receiver scares you the most? Obviously, nobody's scaring you.
Yeah.
But which one gives you the most trouble?
Man, I would love to go against the bigger receivers, because
you get hands on them.
You can get hands on them, and not only that, I would just make them run routes. I'm quicker than you.
Just go ahead and show me what you're going to do.
I'm coming on my break faster than you,
right?
Let's see if you can run routes. We know you can run a fade route. So I would show up, wait till the ball snap. Okay, I'm gonna take off, or I can just play you on the fade, because most big guys, they don't really have a lot of route combinations. Julio was exempt. He can run some routes, but AJ, when I placed those guys, Calvin was different. Just because he's a freak, so I wouldn't even put him as one of the bigger guys to guard. Because
he's just different because he was just bigger, stronger, and he just do what he wanted.
Nobody was 6'6", as 220, moving like Calvin.
Yeah.
Other than probably Julio was big, but he wasn't nowhere close to Calvin.
And as long and strong, right?
So when I go to guys like Larry Fitzgerald, I never really had issues with Larry, compared to Calvin. I would definitely go Calvin harder for me.
Yeah.
And some guys, it might be harder to guard Larry than for Calvin. It just depends on who you are. But, I would say I would try to make the bigger guys run routes.
Yeah.
And, that would play into my advantage.
So the little guys, Tyreek Hill.
Oh, those guys are always hard, just because they can match your quickness.
What do you do? I mean, how do you get the better of them?
Man, when Tyreek first got in the league, we kind of blessed him into the league.
Yeah,
you
trying
know?
to bully him a little bit.
Yeah, because he couldn't get off the jam.
Yeah.
You know, he struggled with getting off releases, and he was learning receiver at that time. And then as he just strongly got better and better, now we see who Tyreek Hill is now.
Yeah.
Right. But, you know, T.Y. Hilton was always tough. A.B. was always tough because those guys they were always just as quick as me, you know, off the line. So those guys always made it tough, man, going against those guys for sure.
So Super Bowl champion, you went to 2. You guys were so good. You have a nickname, No Fly Zone. How long were you guys together in No Fly Zone, and when did you know that was going to be a special group?
Oh man, I think me, Roby, because we picked up Roby, Talib, and TJ all the same year.
Okay.
So we lost that year. I think we lost to Andrew Luck the first year.
Okay.
And then the next year we picked up Stu. But I was already, you know, that was my thing that I had brought out because, you know, we were trying to figure out ways to market myself.
Oh, you came up with it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So me and my wife.
Did you trademark it?
No, you couldn't trademark it, man. That was something with the military or something,
Okay.
with the army, something like that.
That makes sense.
I don't know what it was,
Yeah,
but they had it to where you could.
Right.
But we were just every time I made a play, I would just go like this, you know, always go like that. And it was just something.
Wait, so you started that?
Yeah. So I was just
all the corners do that now.
I mean, they
just go incomplete.
Yeah, now they're going like that. But I was used to hold it a little bit. Yeah. And we were just trying to market myself. What can I do to get out there? Because I'm putting up better numbers than a lot of these cats.
Yeah.
But they're going Pro Bowl, you know, and I'm undrafted. So I got to figure out something to get my name out there and market myself. So that was the first thing that we did. And then after that, we just kind of gave it to everybody, you know, and just marketed from there as the whole secondary.
Yeah. So those first 3 Peyton years, crazy offense, but couldn't get the Super Bowl victory. And then was that 4th year in 2015 where the offense wasn't really doing the same stuff, but the defense really carried the Broncos, you guys, to a Super Bowl championship. How satisfying was that to kind of have the defense really leading the charge on a Peyton Manning team?
Well, I mean, it definitely hard, you know, but without PM, you know, we definitely still don't win, you know. But it was just the first couple years, I think that we all kind of had a mindset that Peyton's going to win us the Super Bowl. He's going to take us there. Yeah. All we got to do is just show up, you know, Peyton's going to win us the Super Bowl, you know. And I think we had to break that mindset that like, hey, Peyton, y'all do whatever y'all going to do. But over here, we're about to go win this. You know, we're going to dominate everybody that we face. And we're not counting on you to win a Super Bowl for us.
Right.
Right. And I think the years before that, we put a lot of it on Peyton, like, hey, we're just gonna just show up, you know, try to do our job the best we can, but ultimately it's on you to get us. You're gonna get us that Super Bowl, and I think that's probably that's probably what got us over that hump.
That's got to be a lot of pressure for one guy, you know, Peyton. I mean, of course he can handle it, but he came in and just changed everything, right? And everyone was like, lead us, chosen one, right? Yeah. And eventually, like you said, you guys were like, all right, we're gonna fucking do it ourselves as well. Peyton can't do everything. He's one man. Yeah, he's only one man.
Yeah, man.
We can't play defense.
We had to break that. We had to break that mentality that, hey, we can't just, you know, count on PM to win us the Super Bowl. We just can't do it, right? And that's what it took, right? Because if we just okay, Peyton's hurt, right? He got hurt during the season.
Yeah, he did.
So if we had that mindset that, hey, only way we're gonna win is if Peyton wins this Super Bowl for us, then we would have lost a long time ago. Yeah. Right? Because he was hurt. Yeah. Right. So that wasn't our mentality. Our mentality was from that whole year that we were gonna be the best defense on the field. And if we were that, we could win every game.
So you guys win the Super Bowl, and then the team kind of gets dismantled a little bit, as a lot of teams do after a Super Bowl, right? Peyton retires, and some other guys leave. And how was that transition going from, you know, being on top to all of a sudden not get back to the playoffs?
Oh man, that was hard for sure. You know, because I was here during that transition. You know, new coaches every year, D coordinators every year. You know, quarterbacks every year. You know, and just couldn't find a guy, you know.
Was it just about not being able to find the quarterback, really? Or was it was his influence that great, like spiritually on the team, not just under center, but like the you know, the standard, the that he had, like you're talking about every day of practice, you know, working with his excellence, that year's gone, and then it just ripples to everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. And we lost a couple guys, that year. But yeah, of course, when we lost 2 quarterbacks, right? Usually you don't win. You win a Super Bowl and you don't lose both the quarterbacks, right? We lost our starting quarterback and then Brock, who we thought was going to be our quarterback.
Yeah.
So that just that messed up a lot of things. We lost we lost the plan and the backup plan. So we just had to go with Trev. I think Trev did solid his first year and put him in under the fire, but I think our team was still, if we still had another solid elite quarterback, somebody that was more veteran, at that time we could have definitely tried to go back to back for sure, because we still had a lot of pieces.
So after 2019 is your last year with the Broncos, and then you go to San Diego.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers?
He was in LA.
Oh, you were in LA by then?
Yeah. We had Herbert. I had Herbert.
Oh, you did? You never had Phillip Rivers?
No.
Yeah, when did he retire? Was 18 his last year there?
Oh, man. I think Phillip retired the year I got there, the year before I got there.
He spent 1 year in Indy, right?
Yeah, he went to Indy.
Yeah, that's right. Phillip Rivers famously, then they did move to LA. He still lived in San Diego, and he was driving some van there or something like that every day. And it was like a tricked out van where he could watch film.
Yeah, he had a driver.
Yeah, he had a driver. Yeah, he would just sit in the back, right?
Yeah,
and watch film.
Yeah,
Phillip Rivers. So you played with Herbert.
Yeah.
What do you think of Herbert?
Oh man, I love him, man. He's great. He's a great work ethic. He's very smart. He's big. You don't usually see a lot of quarterbacks as big as him.
Right.
And he still got a lot of growth to go. I think he's filling out by now, but he was a freak then. I knew day one. I'm like, I don't know how Tyrod's gonna keep this guy off the field,
Well, they stuck Tyrod with in the
glove. They almost killed almost killed him, but hey, it's okay.
Are the Chargers trainers really that bad? Like, is it always? It's always something there.
No, I didn't think they were that
bad.
Nah, I didn't really think so. I thought they were actually pretty solid. They just didn't have the equipment, the technology and the placement as other teams. So they're at a disadvantage, kind of.
The owner wouldn't
now
spend money?
They probably do now that they got the new facility.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when I was there, it was hard for them to kind of do everything that they needed to do, but they weren't bad. Sometimes just, how it is in the NFL, man, it could be bad luck. And they were just one of those teams that, stayed hurt. Always had that, that little reaper there. It always knocked somebody out.
Yeah. So Broncos playing Chargers tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then you spend 9 years with the Broncos, spend a couple with the Chargers. It's going to be a pretty surreal day for you there, I'm sure. What was that like playing for the Chargers and coming back and playing against your old team?
Man, it was fun, man. It was fun, just because I had Fangio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to be Fangio, just because I was the old coach. But it had nothing really against the Broncos. It was just beating one, just want to win, being a competitor, facing old teammates, facing, Cortland and all those guys, man. Drew Lock, facing them, Bowles.
Did you, when you're out on the field, what kind of advantage did you have? Because, the calls were the calls, you were hearing stuff and you knew what it was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I had a great advantage out there for sure, because I knew kind of how Drew played and, going against him in practice and his style, and knowing Cortland, knowing his style, knowing how he plays. So I got an advantage just because I practiced against those guys and seeing them grow up. And it was a good battle, man. I think if we split every year. I can think. I think we split every year, so we were able to lose here, we lost here, and then we would win every time in LA.
Yeah, I feel like Broncos Chargers split every year.
Yeah.
Although the Broncos took 2 from them last year.
Yeah. I mean, we used to smack them. We used to sweep them.
Oh, back in your day.
Yeah, my time we used to sweep them, and then or it'd be a split. They would never beat us twice.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine as well. We always had a good rivalry with the Chargers and the Raiders. We'd always handle the Raiders. That's why the Raiders having an 8-game winning streak against the Broncos until last week was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy because we used to just sweep the Raiders. It
was expected, right?
Yeah, it was. They were little brother, until everything changed once Andy Reid got there. Then he started to slowly shift KC.
Yeah. But Sean Payton and the Broncos broke that streak last year.
Yeah,
that was like a 15-game streak or some shit.
And I was a part of a lot of those.
Yeah, you were actually. You were there for a lot of those.
I was part. I think that streak started after with Peyton,
Probably about half,
2015.
yeah, it did.
You
Yeah,
know,
the second half of 2015.
yeah,
right?
we had beat them earlier that
Yeah.
year, and then after that, they just started sweeping us, man. And then so it was good to finally beat them, you know. And I think they got a great chance to beat them again this year, you know.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
this is a huge game for the Broncos just because. If you look at their schedule, they can be on a nice little 6-game winning streak and be able to separate themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a huge game.
Yeah, huge game. It was a great game last week, and they look pretty good coming together as a team, right? It's a team sport. People forget that. So you played 9 here, 2 in San Diego, and then 1 in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you called it quits.
Yeah.
Tell me about the end. Tell me about the last game you played in. Did you know it was your last game?
No, I didn't know. You know, you never know these things, you know, in the NFL. But I think it was just the NFL was just moving to where, you know, a lot of the vets were just kind of getting moved out, really. You know, if you look at the veteran list, there's tons of DBs on there. It's still long, you know, with DBs. You know, I've looked on there, I seen Xavier Howard is not even in the league right now. Like, so it's just, you know.
Why is that? It's just money?
I think it was just, I don't know if it's money or just the way they're just moving. And no, I don't think it's health, you know, because I feel great.
Could you go out there tomorrow and play?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
You could play 60 minutes?
I can give you at least 40 snaps for sure. Yeah, because I still train and still work out with all kids.
Are you still like doing like change direction and doing all that?
Oh, yeah.
And your body feels good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually feel better because I had to deal with, last couple of my years, I had to deal with the Christian McCaffrey, what he's going through with the tendonitis.
Oh, yeah.
And I was playing out there, you know, every step, every break, it was pain. And I did that for like 4 years, my last 4 years. So now I actually, when I run, I don't feel that pain. I do my drills. And when I go to sleep, wake up, I feel great. You know, it used to be very hard for me to get up after games.
Yeah.
You know, to walk, you know, or practice, you know, dealing with that tendonitis, man. And it's not.
Did you have it in both legs?
Yeah, I had it in both legs, both ankles. So Achilles, and so it was. It's an injury that, you know, I think only rest can heal it. Rest and being able to, you know, I tried everything. I tried different orthotics, different socks, different cleats,
different socks. Yeah.
You know, everything.
Yeah.
I tried everything. You
tape,
know,
no tape, spat,
no tape, everything. You know. Even what's the one tape that they have where it kind of it's like replaces like a muscle?
Yeah.
Did that, you know, PRPs, everything, you know. Acupuncture. I tried everything. And only thing that can heal that is resting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think I seen him. He was trying to go to a German specialist.
Yeah, he flew to Germany for it.
Yeah, I'm like,
what are
bro,
you doing, man?
Only thing you can do is rest, man.
So you don't think he's coming back this year?
If he does, he's gonna have to play through pain.
So it's only a pain issue. It's like you just gonna have to deal with it. It's not gonna snap.
He could snap though.
The Achilles?
Yeah, it could snap because, you know, mine would just get throbbing and would just be really thick behind my ankle or on my Achilles. And, you know, I would, you know, I would pray that it wouldn't snap because, you know, it was close, you know, but I was still good enough to still perform. So it wasn't anything that I would just like, I didn't come out and cry about it while I was playing in the league.
Yeah.
You know how it is, man.
Plus, like when the football play starts, you don't feel it because you go.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's over, you're like,
oh yeah.
And then that night in the morning and everything around that 6 seconds when you're actually going is agony.
Yes.
But when that's going, it's so chaotic that you don't have time to think about pain.
Yeah.
You're just reacting, right?
And I didn't realize how many people deal with that injury, you know?
Yeah.
You know, Emmanuel dealt with that injury a lot. And then his did pop, you know.
Really?
So a lot of guys deal with this injury and, you know, they fight through it, you know, and it's you're gonna see it a lot in the league just because all the wear and tear, all the running, us especially at defensive back, right? We're reacting and we're on our toes.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna see it a lot.
You never know
DBs.
where you're gonna have to go.
Exactly.
Or what angle you're gonna have to push off on.
Yeah. So and same thing could be for a running back, you know, for McCaffrey, you know, he's moving off reaction a lot too. So I can see why he has that injury.
Yeah, that's why when you're rehabbing it, you might feel good in rehab because you're not reacting in rehab.
Yeah.
It's just like do this one exercise, do it that, and you're preparing to go that way. But then all of a sudden a game happens and you got to do something, right?
Right.
What other injuries did you deal with?
Oh man, I had tore my ACL on I would say it was non-contact, regular corner run the comeback, and I tore my ACL coming back on the comeback, and that was in the playoffs versus the Chargers the year we lost to the Super Bowl versus Seattle. So
shoot.
losing that game,
So you had to sit out and watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I
Damn.
missed me and Vaughn missed that first Super Bowl, and that gave us motivation to get back too.
Oh yeah.
But just right there, I was coming into my own. I was following the number ones at that time, so I was following Keen in that game, and we were playing good. I was, we're in the playoffs, and man, everything was going good, man, and just got hurt at that time, and kind of had to reestablish myself the next year. But that was probably my biggest injury.
So you came back from the ACL, and you felt how was that next year? Like
Oh,
physically,
man.
how'd you feel?
I felt good, man. I was definitely probably winded my first 2 games.
But you were ready week 1?
Yeah, I was ready week 1.
After ACL tear in the playoffs?
Yeah, in the playoffs, and I had surgery in March.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
March, April, May. That's like faster than Adrian Peterson came back.
Yeah.
And everyone, was all about how fast Adrian Peterson you came back faster than AP.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and was that
And
corner.
nobody even said shit about it.
See, that's
See,
why I
you
had
keep getting disrespected.
Yeah, I had to fight for, even that, just that was a grind just to come back, and when you're at that status, or and when you're trying to break through the mold. I was at that point to where everybody's getting ready to know who I am because I'm guarding the number 1 guys.
Yeah.
People don't really know that I'm doing that because they're watching. All they're watching is Peyton.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And we're getting to the playoffs now. It's big games. I'm going against these guys, and I got hurt. So that was a big blow for me. Of where I wanted to be at in my career. So, but so I had to really grind and really put it all in to make sure I had a big year my 4th year.
So you're on an island out there as a cornerback, right? There, you got oftentimes no one else to rely on, man coverage, you and their guy. You did go 35 games in a row without allowing a touchdown, but I guess you allowed a few touchdowns in your career, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So what's the mentality like, when you do get beat?
Yeah.
How do you bounce back from that? What would you tell a young player?
Oh man, you haven't played long enough if you haven't been beat, especially in the NFL. You're gonna get beat. You're one-on-one a lot of times. You're going against all pro receivers, all pro quarterbacks. They're going to get you, every once in a while. And all great offensive coordinators, who's been studying you for a while. So the longer and longer you play, you're going to get beat. I definitely gave up more touchdowns the older I got, for sure. But you get beat, man. It happens. You got to have that mentality. I was always a competitor. I didn't care if you beat me or not. I was going to fight you all game. So that was who I am. That's what got me in the league. That's how I made the team, was fighting.
Yep.
So if I ever showed a glimpse of me not backing down, then they would be, okay, that's not Chris Harris.
Yeah.
Right. Because that was part of my identity, my DNA in the league of how I made it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're done,
yes, sir. 2022
was your last season.
Yeah.
2023, what'd you do last year?
Man, I just really stayed ready. Tried to train and stay ready, and just the way the league was going. I didn't get an opportunity. I wish I did. Because I didn't get a chance to. They let a lot of guys go from corner to play safety. I didn't get that chance to do that. So I think I would have been pretty solid at safety, but just the way I tackled, and I was always. I was ranked number 1 tackling missed tackle ratio for like 7 years straight. So I was always a top tackler.
What if you went back now and was like, I want to play safety?
I could do it for sure.
Are you thinking about it at all, or is it done?
I think the league is done, I can definitely play.
Once you're on the other side of 30, man, it's like, then you spend a year out. It's hard to be like, hey guys, remember me?
Yeah. They only do it for a couple guys. Like they did it for Weddle.
Right.
A couple guys get a chance to come back and do that. But I could definitely do it if it was needed be, because I see the tackling that's going on. I think right now I could come back and be a top 10 tackler.
Oh, really?
Because these guys are missing tackles left and right.
Well, so why are offenses struggling so much right now? Because it seems as if defenses are gaining the upper hand.
It's the O-line.
It's
not the secondary or the back end part that's dominating.
O-line sucks.
Yeah.
And they're just getting eaten up.
They're
and
getting
the quarterback
killed.
has no time.
Yep, they're getting killed up front. The
Wow.
O-line play in the league is at the lowest I've seen.
Interesting.
You know, so
What
if you're a
do
good
you think-
O-lineman, you can play 20 years. Bowles, I told Bowles today, like, bro, you can play forever because the O-linemen are not good.
Why is that happening? Not enough practice time?
The development from high school all the way from college to
College game is very different as well.
totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different game. A lot of the times they're going backwards. They don't even know how to run block properly. They
Right.
don't.
It's all shotgun. It's all just
shotgun,
RPO stuff.
straight shotgun. A lot of RPOs. They get the ball out faster.
Yeah.
It's a lot of throws behind the line. You know, they're not going against dogs like Von Miller, Khalil Mack every play.
Yeah.
Max Crosby every play.
Right.
Right. So the O-line just hadn't caught up yet. And hopefully they can, you know. We need some dogs, man. We need to develop these O-line right. And I'm not going to be I've heard this from O-line coaches, from, you know, former O-line players, you know, in the league, just talking to these guys, talking to guys now that are in the league now, telling me, you know, just how bad the O-line play and just watching it. Right. You can watch it and see that there's no protection in a lot of places for a lot of these guys.
Damn. So you're just talking about your identity as a fighter and someone who was always going to, you know, scrap.
Yeah.
For yours. You're not playing football anymore.
Yes, sir.
Where are you going to direct that energy? Where are you going to direct that fight?
Yeah. Man, you know, now I'm working with a lot of kids. So I got a lot of high school kids, a couple guys in the league and in college that I'll be working with. So put my energy in them, helping them, you know, reach their goals, and, you know, helping my kids reach their goals. And, doing media, coming in the game, try to be one of the best analysis, give the best analysis to the game, you know, and breaking down these guys and breaking down defenses. And then hopefully eventually, once my girls get older, be able to get in the coaching form, you know, be able to go out there and really my defense on there, you know, because I've played under Dennis Allen, Jack Del Rio, Fangio, Wade Phillips, Vance Joseph. And I've secretly I got all their stuff.
Oh, you still have
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
I got all their stuff, so I could definitely put a twist, you know, to what they got, you know.
So if you were
I think they would give me their blessing too.
For sure.
So, you know, I got their stuff, and I want to do a little bit of tweaks to what they did and, you know, bring my own fold to it. And I have to continue to watch, because now I'm seeing a lot of these teams are doing a 3-3-5, and, you know, or that they were doing it, but they're doing a different form, you know. It's different formations of defensive formations that they're coming out with, right? That I got to stay up to date.
So what is the direction of defensive football in the NFL? I mean, you talk about 3-3-5, 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 DBs.
Yeah.
Isn't that just nickel? I mean, or is that like what's happening in football that you're seeing trends? Because we just talked about the offensive line play not as good.
Yeah.
Offenses aren't scoring as many points. Defenses seem to be keeping everything in front of them, not getting beat deep anymore.
Yes.
Right. What's accounting for that?
It's probably like now the game is changing to more 75%, 80%, 11 personnel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more 3 receiver wide.
Yeah.
We've gotten away from the 12, the 13, the big body packages. They'll still sprinkle it in. You know, they still got it a little bit, but it's very slim now. So it's a 3 receiver game. It's an athletic tight end game. So sometimes it's 4 wide. Yeah. Right. It's a wide open game now with the RPO, with the college system, with the running quarterback, the quarterback design run. You know, so the game is completely. I was in it from, you know, the early stages of it changing. You know, it was still more traditional with when I first got in the league, and then now seeing the evolve. I was in that evolution of the change, so I got to be involved in that.
Well, do you think it's a pendulum that'll come back, like the running game you're seeing the running game coming back? Like some of the best running teams right now are the teams that are winning. Yeah, and some of these teams that can't run the ball aren't winning, right? Yeah. So do you think the 12 personnel, the 2 tight ends, kind of two receivers, 1 running back, or 2 backs? Yeah, 1 tight end, 2 receivers. Do you think that'll come back into popularity
if they want to win?
Yeah,
because Andy Reid's he's still coming out 12 personnel and spreading them out.
Yeah,
right. He's not all 11.
No,
right. The Ravens, you know, they still got spread, but they still got their power game. Yeah, right. Now we see Buffalo trying to adopt that. Yeah, right, because they got to run the football. You got to have a power game, right, to win a Super Bowl, man. To be able to keep the other team's opposing quarterback off the field and also control the game. So that's what you see happening now. The elite teams are going to still run the football, right? That's why the Cowboys can't get over the hump.
Yeah,
They're going to stay
the worst.
spread,
Yeah,
and they're going to stay pass first to open up the run,
right.
Even though I think people got it twisted with Casey. I think they used the run to open up the pass.
Yeah.
So and same thing with Baltimore. So and 49ers, they still got a lot of traditional way. Right? They're still very traditional. So the best teams, they've adopted a little sprinkle of the college game, but they still kept the league.
Yeah.
The league traditional 12, the play action, the run game, the zone, like they still kept that with those elite teams.
Well, hopefully you can use your competitiveness in the media world, because it is competitive and you're going to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it is hard to scratch that itch. Like, it's like, the physical release of being able to go out there and like actually prepare for an event and then go have the event. Because there ain't no more events when you're out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no more games. But I appreciate you joining me today. I know you got somewhere to be, but and you got a big weekend ahead of you. Tomorrow you're going to be at the stadium being honored for an incredible career, and you're retiring a Bronco. I want to ask you though, really quick before you get out of here. You look back on your career, 12 years.
Yes, sir.
Pro Bowls, All Pros, Super Bowls. What are you most proud of?
Man, just being all decade. I think being able to be and being able to get that award with all the guys in that league at that time, all the corners in that league, so many great guys, be able to get that. I think that was definitely a sprinkle on top of all the accolades and, the Super Bowl 50 and all that, man. To get that all decade, that let everybody know I was the real deal for that decade, for a long period of time. And only the elite was able to make that. So that was something that I was definitely proud of. And also, I would say just, just competing, man, just going out there and trying to fight, do the best I could. My only regret is I didn't get to play safety a little bit, but that's something I was out of my hands. But, just getting that all decade team, coming back and being able to retire Bronco, I think that was a great ending for me to end it right where I started and, built my family and grew up as a man. So it was definitely great to come back and end it here.
It's great to have, the respect of media and fans and get those awards and stuff like that. But to me, the respect of your teammates, the respect of your peers is the thing that matters the most. And, what you just described about when you got beat or whatever, it didn't matter because the people you played against knew you were going to fight them all game long. To me, that's the legacy that you've left. And that's what everybody you played against and everybody you played with is going to remember about you, man.
Definitely.
Is that competitive nature and that fighter.
Yeah.
So those awards, the fact that you did that being undrafted and just kind of overlooked from the start and you had to fight for it. That's an incredible honor, man. So
you're right on the competitive. Yeah, that's something that hopefully my teammates definitely I try to bring it every day. Tried to DT used to get RP DT, man. DT used, hey man, relax, man. DT's, hey man, calm down a little bit, Strap, but that was my guy, man. Just having great battles with him, man. Always remembering him, man. But that's how my teammates definitely, like you said, it just being a fighter out there, being competitive, and having that chip on my shoulder. So hopefully they can remember me as that guy for sure.
Right on, Strap. Thanks for joining me, man.
No problem, man.
This has been another episode of Dumb Jock, a special one. Chris Harris Jr. retiring a Bronco, guys, tomorrow against the Chargers here in Denver. I'm Nate Jackson, Guerrilla Sports. See you guys next time. And big congratulations to Chris Harris Jr. on a fucking awesome career. We're out.